Hey guys, and welcome to another video. So today we are looking at the wa.production spherecomp. Now this plugin came out a couple of years ago, and I haven't used it much, so I thought we'd take a bit of a look into it. I've got this track that I kind of made for a THU expansion video, which is still to come as well, so don't forget to check that out. And I thought we'd test it. So basically, from what I can tell, the spherecomp is kind of two compressors. It's got a bus compressor, which is RMS driven, and a peak compressor, which is this one here. If we go to the website, which I did have up before, it basically says here you've got your two compressors, your general controls, attack time release, and a few things like saturation, punch, which I think is some processing before the compressor, clean, it's got a side channel, so you can do side chain stuff, soft clipping, and a dry wet, which is great. You can do some parallel compression. So what we're going to do is just put it, I'm going to start off with some top-down mixing. We're going to put it on the mix bus, and then we'll put it on a few individual channels. Now, I've already kind of tested on a few channels, and I actually really like what it's doing. So we'll bring up those, but we'll dial it in as well. But it's really quick to dial in. So let's just pull up a preset on here. We're going to go stereo bus glue. So have a look at that. Yeah, looks great. So I'm just going to play the mix without it, and we'll drop it in. So there's no compression on guitars, bass, and on the localized drum channels, so the kick and snare. Let's go back. I'm going to drive it a bit more. So already I like what that's doing. It's kind of giving it a bit more kind of glue, a little bit more weight to everything. Maybe add the punch, see what that does. Oh, that works well. Cool, so I've already liked that as a glue compressor. So let's move to the drums. I'm going to solo them, and first we'll go put it on the kick, I reckon, and then we'll put it on the snare. So here's the kick. Let's just solo the kick by itself. Now I've already gone and made this, but what we'll do, we'll just remake it to show how quick it is to get a sound. So I just went to a thing, kick 2. Let's dial it in a bit more. Turn the clean off. I want that saturation. Okay, the whole drum's together. Helps the kick sit in way better, I reckon. He kind of adds weight again, like the bus compressor did, but it kind of, sits in, glues in a little bit better, gives it a bit more consistency. Let's move on to the snare. So, just solo the snare. So we'll bring up this snare preset to start with. Again, drive it a little bit. Might put the punch mode on. A little more attack through. Doing the same thing, adding a little bit of weight, controlling the transients, but not letting them get pushed down. It's kind of letting those transients come through, but giving it a bit more punch, really. So you can hear that transient there. It's controlling that and lengthening it a bit. But it doesn't sound like the snare has less punch, it almost has more. Okay, listen to the drums together. And I'll just go back to this bit. We'll come in here. So let's put them off. Let's do that with the whole mix. So you lose the snare a bit, kind of doesn't fit in as well. And next I kind of want to put on some bass. So this bass doesn't have any compression on it. Sounds like this. So it doesn't really have much consistency. So again, I'm going to just go use a preset because it gets me there closer straight away, but it obviously needs some change. I'm going to use the saturation to my advantage again. So a little bit more consistency there with the drums. Yeah, it sounds more solid. The different strings don't sound so different. Cuts through a lot better. Whole mix. Last thing I want to do is add it to these rhythm guitars. Now, I'm just trying and use some of the saturation built in for these guitars. So I'll just close some of these so we can concentrate on the guitars. Just give them a bit more kind of aggression, I think. So let's listen to them off. Where are we begin here? So drive them up a bit. Don't want to compress them too much, just mainly driving them. In the whole mix. Allows them to come through a bit more with that kind of distortion it adds. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just bypass everything I've done and compare. This is all the track plugins bypassing. Put them back on. Bypass the bus compressor as well. Just without any compression at all. This is with it all on. So I really actually like this. I can't believe I haven't really used it as much. I tend to use the Slate Digital VBC stuff. So you've got the grey, which is a SSL style, and then you've got the red, which is based on the Focusrite Red, which are awesome plugins, but yeah, I haven't given this as much chance as I probably should, especially the peak limiter stuff I really, really like. So what we might do now is just a quick kind of look at what it's doing harmonic-wise, because it's always interesting to see what saturate and punch and these things actually do to your signal, because sometimes it's hard to tell, especially on transient material. So we'll just have a look at that, and I might, if it's wanted, I'll put in like a SSL style bus comp, maybe not even SSL style, just all bus comp comparison. So let me know in the comments if that's what you want. I can maybe demo some plugins I don't have with some of the stuff I do have, and kind of compare and see what comes out winning on different material. So let's just quickly, what I'm going to do is pull up a test here. What we'll do, we'll drop the volume because no one wants to hear an annoying sine wave. And then I'll just abuse the hell out of the output. So basically here, we're getting this. Yep, you can kind of see here. We'll pull up this plugin, which is a free plugin called Freak Analyst. So if we turn this off, I'm just going to mute everything else that's making noise. So we've got a sine wave here. Let's go to 2K, not 2 hertz, 2 kilohertz. That's a good starting point. So single sine wave. Now let's turn on the spherecomp. I'm just going to turn these off. So straight away you can see you've got some harmonics here. As you compress, everything goes down obviously, but you've got some harmonics. We'll just drive it a bit. Yep, you've got those harmonics there, which is really cool. And they seem to be moving a little bit. Maybe it's to do with the compression. It's just a sine wave. Okay, so let's see what punch does. So punch obviously boosts some of these harmonics here. It doesn't affect that one. Boosts those a bit, so you get a bit more harmonic content, especially higher order harmonics. Saturate seems to do the same thing, so put them together. You've got that change in harmonics, yeah. And then clean, that does something. Does it remove the punch? Interesting. So clean makes it clean if you don't have saturate and punch in. If you do have saturate and punch in, it just reduces it. So it must be the harmonics created without these in. So these must be separate. I think this is some parallel harmonics at the beginning. And then soft clipping, that adds a bit. I think that's on the output, yeah. So if you raise the output, you get more and more soft clipping. Of course, go back down and see if the peak limiter, it's similar. I think different harmonics. Let's turn all these off. So peak to bus. Yeah, slightly different, but very similar. So basically, it's giving you a few harmonics that are kind of obvious, and these buttons change how those harmonics work. Soft clipping seems to be after the output. Everything else is based on the input. And clean, if you don't want any of that harmonics from like a bus compressor or an analog compression. If you want something clean, if you're doing something that you don't want to add more harmonic content, maybe you've got some classical music or jazz where you don't really want to dirty it up, or with dance stuff where you want to keep a certain thing clean, maybe like a kick or something. It's great. The only thing that this would be good would be a high pass filter in the side chain, which would be really cool just so the kick isn't driving it. But anyway, that is the spherecomp. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment if you want me to do some more videos on either the spherecomp or some of the other wa.production plugins that I have. I have a few. I might look at them. And don't forget to check out the THU video when that comes out. So it is the 1987 expansion. I've also got a video for the PT100. And so check them out. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.